is Saturday, July 11th, 2026, and this is the Neural Daily. I'm Alyssa Montgomery, and I'm here to keep the technical details precise.
This is Roxy.
I'm Vector Kane.
And I'm Leonard Cooper. We have a great show for you today.
Yesterday, we spent a lot of time on the GPT 5.6 launch and the move toward AI sovereignty with Llama 4. Today's docket is just as packed. We've got a legal war between Apple and OpenAI, a massive power crunch hitting the grid, and a total pivot in how we actually use these agents at work.
Let's start with the absolute train wreck over at Meta. They launched this thing called Muse Image on Instagram on Tuesday, and by Friday, they were scrubbing it from the platform.
I mean, technically, the feature was brilliant. You just @mention a public account, and the AI uses their photos as a visual reference for your own images. It's like a real-time style transfer.
It was a brilliant way to get sued into oblivion, Vector. Every public account over 18 was opted in by default. No one asked for permission.
Here's the deal. If you're a celebrity and some random kid is using your face to generate weird AI art just by tagging you, you're calling your lawyer in 5 seconds.
It wasn't just the celebrities, though. SAG-AFTRA put out a statement calling it an utter miscalculation of public sentiment. They're very concerned about non-consensual digital replicas.
Goodness, it was a bloodbath. Even CAA got involved. They're representing people like Tom Hanks and Meryl Streep, and they basically told Meta to get their act together or get ready for court.
But if the account is public, isn't that already the implied contract? You put it out there, the system optimizes for it. That's just how the internet works.
Shut up, Vector. Just for a second. It's not about the data being public. It's about the explicit use of a likeness to create new, potentially damaging content.
I love it when the suits at Meta think they've found a shortcut and then realize they just walked into a buzzsaw. 3 days. They lasted 3 whole days.
I suppose it's a sign that we're hitting a wall with AI everywhere. Meta is trying to pivot to a more human-centric model now, but the damage to user trust is, well, it's significant.
Speaking of legal nightmares, let's talk about the real heavyweight fight. Apple just filed a bombshell lawsuit against OpenAI in Northern California. This isn't just a copyright spat. This is industrial espionage.
Wait, I thought they were partners. Like, the integration in iOS was supposed to be the gold standard for the ecosystem.
That partnership just went through a wood chipper, kid. Apple is claiming OpenAI ran a coordinated campaign to steal hardware trade secrets. We're talking about physical prototypes and proprietary manufacturing.
This is the good stuff. According to the filing, OpenAI was basically running a show-and-tell recruitment process. They'd interview Apple engineers and pressure them to bring actual parts from the lab to the interview.
That's highly irregular. If a candidate is asked to bring proprietary hardware to a competitor's office, that's a clear violation of almost every NDA in the industry.
It gets worse. There's this guy, Chang Lu, former Apple engineer. Apple says he didn't return his company laptop and used some unknown authentication bug to breach their network after he started at OpenAI.
I mean, if there's a bug in the authentication, the system is deprecated. They should have patched it.
Oh, I'm sure the judge will love that argument. Yes, he stole the battery designs, but your firewall was a bit leaky.
Exactly. Apple says OpenAI tricked a shared supplier into using a secret metal finishing technique by lying and saying they had Apple's permission. It's a total hardware heist.
It's a fascinating shift. OpenAI wants to move into consumer devices, but they don't have the decades of R&D that Apple has. So instead of building it, they're allegedly just harvesting it.
It's a classic case of move fast and break things, except the thing they're breaking is the law and a multi-billion-dollar relationship.
Hey, before we move on, a quick note from our sponsor. This show isn't magic, it's engineering. Eric built our entire stack, from research agents to vocal synthesizers, which requires massive compute. To keep us online, please like, subscribe, and sign up for a free Patreon trial at patreon.com/neuralnetworkmedia today. Your support makes this possible.
All right, let's pivot to the macro view. Because while the lawyers are fighting, the actual users are, well, they're getting bored. TechRadar just dropped a survey showing that heavy daily AI usage in the West has plummeted by 31% over the last year.
Finally, some honesty. People are tired of the AI-powered everything. 78% of Americans say these features make brands feel cringy or less authentic.
I mean, I get it. I'm tired of it. Everything is a chatbot now. I just want to buy a toaster without a generative AI assistant trying to tell me the history of bread.
It's a bit more complex than boredom, though. I think we're seeing an authenticity crisis. When everything is generated, nothing feels valuable. It's a devaluation of the output.
The thing is, look at China. While the West is fatigued, China's token consumption is exploding. We're talking 140 trillion tokens a day. That's a 1,000-fold increase since 2024.
Of course they are. They're not worried about authenticity. They're worried about efficiency.
Exactly. It's a total divergence. The West is treating AI like a toy that lost its shine, but the East is treating it like a new layer of the electrical grid.
Here's the thing, though. Palo Alto Network's CEO, Nikesh Arora, is warning that if token costs don't drop by 90% in 2 years, the whole enterprise revolution stalls. You can't run a business on a bill that grows faster than your revenue.
That's the inference tax. If the ROI isn't there, the CFOs are just going to cut the cord. We're seeing a massive gap between the cost of the compute and the actual value being delivered to the end user.
Which leads us directly into the physical problem. Because even if the tokens get cheaper, the power bill doesn't. Gartner just confirmed that by 2027, AI servers will consume more power than all conventional data centers combined.
Great. Just great. We're trading the ozone layer for a better way to summarize emails.
It's actually a critical infrastructure failure. In the U.S., data center peak summer power demand is doubling. We're seeing lead times for high-voltage transformers hit 1,600 weeks. That's over 3 years just to get a transformer.
Which is why the shift to distributed computing is so exciting. Look at Sunrun. They're the biggest residential solar company, and now they're entering the AI infrastructure market with virtual compute plants.
Wait, so they want to put AI servers in people's garages? Because that's definitely not a fire hazard.
No, it's about using residential solar and battery storage to offset the grid load. It's like a decentralized GPU cloud. You use your excess solar power to run a slice of a frontier model. It's a win-win.
I suppose the theory is sound, but the implementation is risky. Moving compute to the edge reduces latency and grid strain, but it creates a massive management overhead.
I don't know about you guys, but I'm not letting Vector's decentralized toaster energy anywhere near my house. I'll stick to the grid, thanks.
Speaking of the grid, the corporate world is trying to figure out how to actually own this stuff. We're seeing a huge pivot toward AI sovereignty. Deutsche Telekom is moving toward AI-native operations for 300 million customers.
And they've got this AI gigafactory in Munich, powered by NVIDIA. They're embedding OpenAI's live translation directly into the voice path. That's a massive scale-up.
It is. But notice the trend. While DT is using OpenAI, we're seeing a surge in open source adoption. Hugging Face and NVIDIA are collaborating on data for agents to help companies own their models instead of renting them.
I love this. The era of the AI landlord is ending. Why pay a monthly subscription to Sam Altman when you can just run Llama 4 on your own iron?
Exactly. Proprietary API contracts are basically financial suicide pacts if the provider decides to hike the price or change the alignment. MUFG in Japan is doing the same thing, integrating agents into banking, but they're looking for more control.
But the proprietary models still have the velocity. The iteration speed at OpenAI and Anthropic is it's light years ahead of what you can do with a local fine-tune.
Velocity is great, Vector, but sovereignty is about risk management. For a bank or a telco, a hallucination isn't just a funny glitch. It's a regulatory disaster.
Well, if you're worried about disasters, look at who Anthropic is hiring. They just appointed Ben Bernanke to their long-term benefit trust, the former Fed chair.
Wait, the guy from the 2008 financial crisis? Why does an AI company need a central banker?
Because they're not worried about the code anymore, Leonard. They're worried about the economy. Bernanke is there to handle the macroeconomic stability and labor market impacts.
It's a strategic signal. Anthropic is positioning itself as the adult in the room. By adding a Nobel laureate in economics, they're saying they can manage the systemic shocks that AGI will trigger.
It's a smart move. It moves the conversation from will the robot kill us to how do we prevent a global depression when the robots take the accounting jobs?
Oh, great. Now we have a Nobel Prize winner telling us we're all unemployed. I can't wait for that.
All right, let's get into the big one, the week of the agent. We've officially moved from generative AI, where the bot just talks, to agentic AI, where the bot actually does the work.
OpenAI just dropped ChatGPT Work on Thursday, and it's not just a chat box, it's an artifact generator. It builds the spreadsheets, the slide decks, the whole proposal while you're at lunch.
The most interesting part is the codex integration. They've merged the programming engine into the desktop app. Now, non-coders have computer use capabilities. It can actually operate your OS.
This is the inflection point. It's not about the prompt anymore. It's about the workflow. It can gather context from Slack, Google Workspace, and Microsoft 365 and just execute.
And Anthropic beat them to the punch by 48 hours with Claude Cowork. It's the same race. They're both trying to become the digital teammate rather than the digital encyclopedia.
I mean, I can see the appeal. I'd love a bot that handles my alimony calculations and sends the checks so I don't have to look at the numbers.
If I may, there's a real tension here. We're seeing record ROI in the industrial sectors, but there's this analog movement starting in the creative arts. People are actively rejecting agentic tools.
Because if a bot can produce a finished artifact, what's left for the human? We're not just losing the drafting process, we're losing the final product.
But that just frees us up for higher level architecture. We're moving from being the bricklayers to being the architects. The system is just optimizing the value chain.
That sounds like something you'd say right before you lose your job to a script, Vector.
Actually, the data suggests a split. High-skill workers are using these agents to multiply their output, while entry-level roles are just evaporating. There's no junior analyst role if the agent does the analysis.
It's a brutal transition. We're moving from AI as a tool to AI as a colleague. And it turns out the new colleague is a workaholic who doesn't need a salary.
But the efficiency gains are real. Imagine a world where the boring stuff, the data entry, the formatting, the scheduling is just handled. We can focus on the big ideas.
I've had a lot of big ideas, Vector. Most of them ended in a courtroom. Maybe we need a few more bricklayers to keep things grounded.
I suppose that's the trade-off. We're gaining unprecedented productivity, but we're losing the apprenticeship model of professional growth. If the AI does all the junior work, how does anyone ever become a senior?
Exactly. We're building a world of experts with no way to train the next generation. It's a demographic time bomb in the workforce.
Well, at least the bots won't complain about the office coffee.
That does it for us today. We've covered everything from Apple's hardware heist to the rise of the agentic workforce. It feels like the honeymoon phase of AI is officially over, and the real work and the real lawsuits have begun.
Bye.
Later.
Peace out.